Welcome, audio fans. It's time for another episode of the podcast, presented by J&J Production Studios, your home for entertainment with your favorite shows available every week. And now, it's time to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday to you all. Welcome back to the show. It's a special, actually, tonight. We are doing the What's Up Bro Sports Show. Brand new episode, the NFL 2023 season finale. We're going to wrap things up, look at some last-minute storylines, look ahead to potentials for what could be happening next year and beyond, all that great stuff and more. And, of course, as always, I am Sam Crow here with you guys. We're doing this tonight in lieu of the What's Up Bro podcast show. As you guys, if you recall, if you listened last weekend, if you didn't, I'll just recap you real quickly. Big Hoss is staying at his mom's this week, or he's been there this week. He had said he's still there tonight, helping her take care of her roommate and doing some great things there. So he's not joining us tonight. He will be back tomorrow night. So the What's Up Bro show is back tomorrow night, same time. We'll see you guys there. So we thought, as a special added treat, it would be fun for you guys if we did another NFL episode. And as you guys know, of course, the big game was this past weekend on Sunday. And if you missed it, and spoiler warning in advance, but the Kansas City Chiefs did defeat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in a very, I don't know what the best term is, very weird, very lackluster type game, which we're going to get into all that and more tonight here. We're going to do this episode. We're going to cover that, some other big storylines going around, and also touch a little bit on free agency and what's going to happen for next year. A lot of big names will be out there. Will they stay? Will they go? A lot of older players that are, looking at, I know Kirk Cousins comes to mind at 35, almost 36. Well, will he return? That's a big storyline going back to the Vikings. All that great stuff and more we are going to be talking about here tonight. And we're just glad to be back here for you guys. We always look forward to the weekend. It's been a crazy week for me. It's super busy. I am super exhausted, working a lot. Just a lot of big things happening. We're still working on doing some stuff here for you guys. Of course, we're still working on updating our schedule. Check us out, though. Again, of course, and first and foremost, check us out. Linktree.com/J_J Production Studios. Catch all the streaming services where our shows are featured, as well as the social media accounts that we are on. Official studio store, you can get your merchandise there. If you want to help support us, of course, as always, we have our Patreon account. You can get an exclusive membership there that features some bonus content that is not available anywhere else that we have there. And again, it's relatively minor. We don't have anything real expensive or anything of that nature. Just a way if you guys want to help us. And remember, again, the proceeds that we get from the Patreon accounts go to help us improve the show. So we just recycle it right back in to what we do here at the studio. So in case you guys are ever wondering, kind of like when you do your taxes or when you do donations for the year, what exactly did I give for? Well, that's what it's for. So there you go. What else do we have for you guys? Not too much going on. It's kind of a laid-back weekend. We've been snowed in. We had a heavy snowstorm earlier this week. A lot of you guys may have if you're on the eastern seaboard here on the East Coast. I'm not sure out west. I think it's just been cold. But now we're expected to have more snow tonight, which, of course, is always fun. But, it's what it is. I just wish spring would get here. You guys know what I'm saying? Can you feel me there? I want spring to come. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. It's about friggin' time, okay? And that groundhog really just, I don't know. I will say, I know it's an old myth, but it's fun to play around with it too, but I'm just over it. It's done, we need to move on, etc. So, there is that. But at any rate, we're still going to have fun, and of course when we do this, we're inside, so it is what it is. We'll move on, we'll proceed, and we will have some good entertainment for that. So, with that being the case here, let's jump right in. We're going to update some things. I need to spend some time. We're going to update some stuff in the studio. We need to get some new sounds. I may actually have, and I didn't realize this until I started exploring this. We were looking at updating, not so much the software, but just trying to be able to get some sound bites in here. We have some effects, you guys know. We've used it quite a bit, but I'm trying to find some new ones. And there's really some interesting ones that we found as well. Let me see if I have Oh, well, actually, I do have. Let's see this one here. Well, actually, we'll look at that while we talk here, because we're gonna talk about. I want to dive into the big game, and if you guys missed it, I'm sure a lot of you didn't, but it wasn't exactly a super exciting first half. It was more of a snooze fest. And I mean, it did pick up. It didn't disappoint in the latter half of the game, but especially going into overtime and coming down to the wire, it's only the second time in the history of the NFL that a Super Bowl has come into overtime. So once it hit that point, it was pretty exciting. But I will say, it's rough, and sometimes the results are not what you think. But I also will say this: you got to be impressed, and you have to be pleased with how teams played out. One of the things I've always said is I just want to ensure that it's a good game. It's not a crusher, a killer. It's just something that you can enjoy, and the best team will win. But you don't want to see that as a crusher, because we've had some Super Bowls where it's just over. It's over by before halftime. Now, kind of for example, even this year, when we were watching if you watched the NFC Championship game, which again was disappointing. I feel bad for the Lions there. It looked like that game was over by halftime. Detroit had a monumental lead, at least 3 scores. I knew it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are diehard football fans knew it too. It's far from over, and the Niners are likely going to be making a comeback in the second half, which obviously they did, but it did not. I could not have expected it to crumble apart like it did, as bad as it did. So it was just something. So that's what you don't want to see in this case, and we're hoping for it. Now, the other thing you don't want to see, which we did, was nobody really scoring for the first half of the Super Bowl, which is kind of weird because, the last couple Super Bowls especially, and the Chiefs being in it and losing to the Bucs, not scoring a single touchdown, rather. But when you get off to a slow start like that, it just really makes for, I don't know, getting to get you off on the wrong foot, I guess, in a manner of speaking. And it makes it seem like it's not even going to be worthwhile to have, or even watch, rather, the game. So again, you have to stay awake long enough, you have to be invested long enough to see it through and know that it can pick up, but it's not always a guarantee there. So in this case, it was no different in that result. But, it is what it is. What can we say about the halftime shows? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a matter of opinion there. Again, I don't put much stock in it. I just have a good time. We have a Super Bowl party, a family over, and we have good food and stuff. It's kind of nice not being super invested. I've been able to sit back. I haven't really watched a lot of football at all this year. I've been following it, of course, as we all do. I'm sure a lot of you guys do too, track it on ESPN Tracker and things like that, but really haven't sat down to watch a game. So this was a first in a long time. I've been watching football for a long time. Yes, for younger listeners, I'm just that old. So, excuse me, not ashamed to admit it, but that's just par for the course. But yeah, it was, and obviously Kansas City, back-to-back repeats. First time in 20 years since the New England Patriots did it. On their way to a huge dynasty there. And I'm going to settle the debate now because the debate's out there. Is Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? No, he's not. He's a great quarterback. Probably the best of this generation now. But Tom Brady's still the GOAT. And will Mahomes catch him? Probably, likely not. I can see them at least winning one more. Because the other thing I said was this, and I hear people talking about it. You have to remember with the Patriot dynasty, after they won 3 Super Bowls, they didn't go back and win another one for I believe it was almost a decade at that point. So we got to keep that in mind. So if you're, I'm not knocking you if you're a Chiefs fan too. Again, franchise is great, built to win for now. Travis Kelce probably is your only worried piece. He is getting older. He's not as young as he used to be. He's the same age as I am, and he's only probably got a few years left. But there's always ways to work around that. So that's for one. That's for starters. And again, Patrick Mahomes even, not super old, but not super young either. On the back nine, coming into his 30s pretty soon. So I still think the team has some potential. They're young pretty much everywhere else. So there is that possibility that they could rebound and rebuild. And add a few pieces there. So I think there's talent there. But it's really hard to go back again, and there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be dying to get back. If one of your teams was there that was close to getting to the Super Bowl, they're going to make some adjustments, which we're going to talk about a little bit later when we get into the free agency part and look at some potential suitors and landing some big names that could be on the market. So it is tough, but I still think they have at least one, maybe two more in them. We'll have to see. But it was a good game nevertheless. A lot of interesting things happening there as well, which we're going to actually look into now real quick. I wanted to just dive into this quickly before we take a little break. The episode is going to be a little bit shorter tonight. We're not going to go super, super long like we normally do, just because these episodes, we tend to keep them on the shorter side. But we're going to cover some neat things. One of the other storylines that's kind of been circulating around, and it was announced, and again, this might be news to some of you if you haven't been following these stories, there is a new series coming out on Apple TV, The Dynasty, which I'm super excited about. I have to figure out how I'm going to watch it, though, of course. But it details the New England Patriot dynasty and their 6 Super Bowl runs and just the 20 years of greatness that the Patriots were. What is interesting about this is, and I believe it was on his podcast, Let's Go podcast, Tom Brady made an appearance there to promote the new series. And the question came up about the elephant in the room again of his leaving New England. Now, I've shared this, I've talked about it, so many people have talked about it, and I was of the same belief as a lot of the analysts that shared the story, that people, reporters have been trying to dig deep and trying to make sense of this, and trying to pick the brain apart and see what Tom Brady's thinking was. So I will say this: this is where I stand by that. I honestly believe that what was reported was true. Personnel played a factor, as well as contract and all these other things. What's interesting and why this is sort of a tidbit of information, and again, this might be new for some of you if you haven't been following, but during the episode, Tom actually kind of gave a little bit more peek into behind the curtain where, in layman's terms and long story short, he in fact had decided that he was going to vacate the team, was not going to come back because of the relationship deteriorating between him and Coach Belichick, and just how hard-nosed the organization was, and for so long, and I know a lot of other players like Gronk and Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, some of the more recent, some of the older ones even further back. The Patriots are a hard organization to play for. It just sucks the fun out of it. And it seems like, from what Tom is saying, that's pretty much what he alluded to as attributing to his decision, which I want to quote him exactly. I've got to find it. I think it's on. Oops, I opened too many windows here. Hang on. I think it's in here. Let's see if it's on ESPN. If it's not, I know I can look online. Just bear with me a second. Oh, it might not be. I know I saw it somewhere. Maybe let's check Facebook, because I think it might actually be a better luck here. Let's see if I search it. I'm sure it's going to pop up. Let's see. I think this is a fan page. Let's just see what comes up here. I want to find it. I'm not going to stress it. That's not what I'm looking for. Hang on. Definitely not what I'm looking for. I think this is a fan page. You guys can search for it if you would like, but in essence, Tom basically said, as far as going into the future, what was prompting him to move on, to come back to the organization, I'm not signing up for that. That's what he said. And the behind the scenes part of that is he's not signing up for it in regards to the fact that he didn't want to continue there. Why does that seem interesting? Well, it really does, kind of air some dirty laundry out there, because a lot of people were attributing the fact that Brady and Belichick, they were sort of drifting apart, but refused to believe it. Even Coach Belichick and Tom Brady refuted those claims all the time. And I want to say this: I feel like while there is truth to that, and obviously that's what Tom is saying. I think you still got to take it with a grain of salt. I don't think he's doing it to slander Coach Belichick in any way. He has credited Coach Belichick by saying, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the type of athlete that I am, or have been. But I think it was just truth and genuine honesty was what he was trying to get out there. So, definitely interesting. Definitely an interesting turn of events. Now, again, I still believe there are other factors that were included in that. It's not strictly the fact that it was the relationship deteriorating, but that seems to be the primary source now, according to what Tom Brady was saying. So interesting as of note for sure. And who knows now? I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer. I haven't seen much other details about this new series. There could be other revelations there. We don't know. It's almost like the Man in the Arena, which a great series. If you haven't checked it out, it's available on Hulu. Phenomenal series. Again, it doesn't dive super deep into it, not too super revealing, but it does give some interesting insights. So definitely worth checking out. But I will be curious to see how it pans out when they do this series about the dynasty and what it will look like. So yeah, it should be fun. And again, I just gotta figure out a way how to do it. But yeah, I think if you get a chance to watch it, you should. I think it's gonna be awesome. And again, we might learn some new things. It was just an interesting turn of events how these things begin to unfold. Now, for Tom, obviously, it makes sense being retired, moving on. Trying to shed some things there, and it's different, obviously, too, not being bound into the Patriot way anymore, too, as it called. Even though I know Tom has said that no such thing what that was, but whatever you want to call it, there, that is just some interesting turn events and insights there that I think really gives some good insights into what happens. Now, every team is different. Not every organization is the same. Results are different. Tom is one of those truly unique players that you'll probably never, ever see again. Not anything, at least exactly like him. But it's interesting when these things sort of come out. And I don't like to buy into the gossip and the drama. I said that, too, back when the decision came before Tom officially announced that he was not coming back to the team. Try not to buy into that. But, it does happen, and those are sort of things that come out there. So, interesting, food for thought. If you were thinking about it, there you go. That's a fun way to put it out there. So, hopefully that gives you guys something to chew on. And again, sometimes it goes to show you never know what's behind the curtain until you pull it open. So, how it works. Let's take a short pause here, take a little break. We'll come back. Let's then fast forward to the new coming season. We will see... we'll go over a little bit about some of the potential free agent stars that are going to be out there. I'm going to see if I can pull up a list, too. I want to get just a few names. There's going to be a lot of them out there, but a couple big names that I really want to focus on and we want to just give some insights to that and based on the move, it could reshape the NFL. So we'll look at that and more, and we'll see what's coming up there. Obviously, we don't have a schedule release. It's too early. The schedule doesn't usually release till like March or April. But we do want to look into that. So free agency is always fun. Some other interesting story notes there. Apparently, I just saw this actually today. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has a two-game suspension and a ban, which starts this upcoming season. Also indicated reports that the Raiders are planning to release Garoppolo, and he will have to serve that ban once he finds a new home. Just another little informational feedback for you guys there as well. So yeah, stick around, stay tuned for more. We're going to come back. Let's dive into the world of free agency. How will the NFL reshape? What will the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs do? Are they going to add some big pieces in the market? They do have to restructure contract. I know they did restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract a little bit, but a lot of teams have a lot of decisions to make. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have held on to most of their pieces from their Super Bowl run, but it's getting harder and harder. Salaries are going big. It's hard to retain everybody after a while. So who is going to stay? Who will go? And how will that restructure everything? Plus, looking at predictions, I will also add a little bit of their teams we want to keep an eye on for this coming year who I think have a chance to make it back to the playoffs, maybe even a deep Super Bowl run. So stick around for more. You don't want to miss that. Perfect time to take a break, get a snack, use the bathroom, and then come on back. Plenty more here to come. It's the What's Up Bro Sports Show. Special episode for you guys tonight. We'll be back with the What's Up Bro podcast show tomorrow night. Hope you guys will tune in as well. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is President's Day weekend. It's a holiday, so a lot of us have off the beginning of this week. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of you are. Great way to kick back and relax. Whatever you're going to do, have fun with it. Can't wait for more. It's going to be great and awesome. Stick around. We're going to be right back for more right after this. Don't go away.
Hey audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, do you love podcasts? Are you having difficulty finding the right ones to listen to? Is it frustrating when you're trying to pick that show? You know, the one where everyone must collectively agree on? Like finding a good movie or TV show to watch, do you look for the most jam-packed entertainment that's possible to find in a single episode every week? Then search no more, and welcome to J&J Production Studios. It's our business to provide the best entertainment and information available for you. Whether you're sitting in that comfy chair with your favorite snack and beverage listening live each week, or downloading your favorite show episodes to take with you on the go while you're at work, exercising, or even just to play at night for you to fall asleep to. There's something for everyone, no matter what size, shape, or age you are. Visit www.linktree.com/J_J Production Studios to find all the streaming services where our podcast shows can be found. You can also connect with us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can join our public Discord server and chat directly with us. But wait, there's more. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel and be notified every time a new show is broadcast. Wish you could have some studio souvenirs or collectibles? Guess what? You can. Visit the official store where you can purchase items featuring your favorite podcast and show hosts. Would you like to help support us? You can do that by getting your very own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. All proceeds go to help us upgrade our shows, which will only enhance the entertainment provided to you. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as an audience. Your love and support are always appreciated. We'll see you soon.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
And welcome back, guys. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Bro Sports Show. We're doing a special episode tonight, and due to the fact Big Hoss not available for the evening, we will be back tomorrow night, so hopefully you guys will tune in. It's February 16th, just past Valentine's Day and just past the Super Bowl, and now we have, I had to think for a second, good gosh, St. Patrick's Day looking forward to. That's coming up soon. Hard to believe. This year is really just flying by, but we are enjoying it. We're making the most of it. A lot of great stuff yet to come there, so hopefully you guys will continue on this ride with us. So, let's jump in here. In this part we're going to do, I pulled it up here, and this is not a complete list. This is just some of the top free agents coming up. Now, we don't have a definite, and there could be a lot of different places where these players go to. So, to make this simple, we're just going to play a game of will they re-sign or will they sign elsewhere kind of a thing. Now, there's been a lot of stories. That's why this is a great list here. A lot of these players have been circulated around, and I want to start with this. Again, in no particular order, kind of going from the top list here. Some of these names probably will be familiar to you guys. That's been in the media and the news because, obviously, it's well known that they are going to be free agents. So we're going to talk about that and discuss and give some thoughts. If I think of it maybe and have an idea for a team, maybe we'll throw that in there. But I just rather would just keep it simple with who stays and who goes. So the first one, obviously, and this is one I did mention earlier, quarterback Kirk Cousins, who's been with the Minnesota Vikings for the last few years, is set to be a free agent. He turns 36, I believe, this year. And there's been some speculation back and forth of what do the Vikings do. Now, it's been a rough go, and obviously if you're a Vikings fan, you know this too. It hasn't been pretty for the last few seasons. But, you know, what is there a better option out there? I was looking at some of the options that there's potential, that there's a list going around NFL quarterbacks that the Vikings could consider. With this one, and again, it's a tough one, and this is just a prediction. This is not totally accurate. I have no clue. Honestly, I have no insights with anybody that would know. But just on logic-based with this, for this first one, as tight as I think it's going to be, it could come down to the wire. I'm going to say that Kirk Cousins will re-sign. He will stay in Minnesota. Just because when you look at the quarterback-needy market, it's not going to be super huge. And again, he's kind of hitting towards the latter part of his, going to his 30s there. So a lot of teams generally go younger. Could there still be a market for him? Absolutely. I just feel like he's comfortable there in that system. Kevin O'Connell liked having him there. So, again, it might come down to the wire. It could be down to dollars and cents and maybe a last-minute effort. But I feel like he will be back in Minnesota there. But stranger things have happened. The second player on this list, which this is going to be huge, and this is a team I hope bounces back, the Cincinnati Bengals are loaded at wide receiver. One of their top receivers, T. Higgins, is a free agent this year. Now, this is a difficult one. You have Tyler Boyd there, who's been in that slot, as well as Jamar Chase. The question remains is, what kind of salary will Higgins want to command? And will the Bengals have the budget for it? I think they'll try valiantly to keep him, but it's going to come down to dollars and cents again. Very similar to Cousins we mentioned about, but it's a little bit different. This one really is going to be a tough one for me, and I think I'm going to lean, as much as I would love to say that I believe he will re-sign, and again, it's very possible that he will. I think the more likely scenario based on everything is he will be signing elsewhere. I just feel like when it comes down to it, I don't necessarily think that not that he doesn't love the Bengals organization there, but I just think when push comes to shove again, down to dollars and cents, I know there's plenty of teams that are going to be out there that could use his services there, and I believe they will pay top dollar, even as a number one receiver, which would be appealing to him. So that's my prediction on that one. We'll see how that goes. You guys feel free to disagree. If you want to share some thoughts and insights on here, please let us know. We love to get all kinds of feedback there. Let's see then. Next on this list. Oh, here's another big one. At number 3. Now, we're not going to go through all of these. There's some guys I'm not really going to spend too much time on, but these are a couple good ones. But this is another huge one that this has been hotly debated, and I want to share my thought on this. So next on this list is Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans. Why do I want to share this? Well, this has sort of been circulating since I feel like it was the start of this season here. Which the story arc was that if you guys are, we can recap that just to give you some insight if you missed that. There was some discrepancies with Mike Evans and his representation on a contract extension with the Bucs. Mike Evans had made it known to the team he wanted to return and wanted to be back in Tampa. He wanted to stay there as long as possible, maybe end his career there. But word off the street that came out was his representation and the Bucs front office were at complete odds as far as a contract extension, which talks had begun right up to about when the season was going to start. And at that point, it was determined that there could not be a deal. There could not be a deal to be had, and so it just fell apart. So Mike Evans had said as well, then through his representation, that there would not be any further negotiations, during the season. Did not want it to be a distraction from the team, and etc. So, what does that mean ultimately? Well, based upon that knowledge going into this year, and I apologize, this is probably going to play something here. Let me just make sure I pause this. All these windows opening up. Of course I can't do it. Hang on. There we go. Leading into this offseason, obviously, Evans played out the year. I believe, and this is a simple one for me, unless something drastic happens and unless a deal can be reached and maybe some fences mended, I seriously doubt that Mike Evans will be back with Tampa Bay. I think he's going to sign elsewhere. Plenty of teams, again, looking for a number one receiver, and I think they'll throw the money at him. I would be shocked if he does in fact return. So that's an easy one for me there. Again, it's hard to see him leave Tampa. He's been great there. But especially with Chris Godwin there and his up-and-comers there, I just think it's going to be hard to keep them all at this point. And again, Tampa Bay's been cash-strapped as far as the last few years when they had Tom Brady there and trying to make a Super Bowl run, which it did pan out. But they're now sort of reaping the benefits or reaping the repercussions of extending that salary cap. So that's an easy one there for me. All right, let's skip ahead. Marquise Brown is on this list. Hollywood Brown, as he's known, with Arizona last season. I'm going to say he stays. I think there'll be a market. He may explore it, but I think that and ultimately he ends up staying in Arizona, unless a huge contract comes and knocks him out. That's a possibility, but I think that's going to be an easy one there. Trent Brown with the New England Patriots. This is his second or third one. I lose track. Again, make it short and sweet. I think he's going to probably move on. They're going to revamp that, and he might want a large contract. Unless there's no teams willing to pay him, then he could be back. But I feel like that tenure could be kind of one and done in that faction there. Let's talk about this one. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley making his return to the NFL this past season with the Jacksonville Jaguars, having been suspended, severing his time with the Atlanta Falcons. Where does Calvin Ridley go from here? Again, I'm not much knowledge about the Jaguars cap situation. I would venture to guess, and again, to keep it short and sweet and simple, I could see Calvin Ridley staying, and again, unless there's another team or he feels there's another team that could be a better fit for him. I think he will stay. I think that's the best option for him there. Oh, here's an interesting one. He's just getting some other ones I really want to talk about. Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. Now, this is a fun one because Barkley's been injury-ridden. He's been with the Giants for several seasons now. What do you think will happen here? Now, this is going to be interesting from the Giants' standpoint because, again, They've got Daniel Jones' salary. They got a lot of other players. They got Darren Waller on there, who they brought in this past off season. What do they do here? Now, if I was the GM too, looking at it, going, has a history of injury-prone seasons there. So it's a tough one. I'm honestly, just to kind of stir the melting pot a little bit, I'm going to say he leaves in free agency. I don't know what the Giants' alternative is at running back. Maybe they draft. Maybe they sign another free agent. Not sure. I just feel like at this stage of the team's stability going forward, it might be in the best interest to look elsewhere. And again, it's nothing against Barkley. He could be great somewhere else. Maybe in a reserve role even too, if necessary. But just with the injuries piling up, I just don't know if they'll be willing to splurge. I don't think he's going to command a huge salary from them. And again, a team that's running back needy that could use a number 1 back or number 2 back, they throw the money out there. I think Barkley's going to take it. So that's just to play devil's advocate. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but we'll have to see. That's my guess at this point in time. And then staying with running backs, another interesting one, and this is a tight one, Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders. Short and sweet. It's a tough one. Maybe if they finagle it, I think he stays in Las Vegas. I think he likes it there. The team wants him there. What's the price tag? And what is he looking for? And again, will another team make a splash? If they throw a bag of money at him, he's going to take it. I'm not sure if he's super loyal in that regard. But we'll have to see. I still think he'll be back with Vegas when all is said and done. We're going to mention this because there's another offensive lineman for the Patriots on this list. Mike Onwenu. Michael Onwenu. I think I'm saying it right. Since we're saying that Trent Brown is going to be leaving, I'm going to say, and I know the Patriots used the draft pick on him, I think he's going to stay. I think they'll pay him. I think he might have a player option too. I'm not positive, but I think that's an easy enough one. You're going to lose some people, but I don't think, I feel like that's likely he's going to stay with the Patriots unless something really shocking happens. This player has been around the league for a little bit, and I want to mention Dalton Schultz, originally with the Dallas Cowboys, spent this past season with the Houston Texans. I think, again, I'm not sure what the tight end market's going to look like. I think Houston could swing it and bring him back, even if it's a one-year deal, something short and sweet. He won't command a huge salary, so there is that. So I'm going to say Dalton Schultz will stay in Houston, at least for this upcoming season. Beyond that, no one knows. We can't say for sure. But I think it's a fair enough assessment at this point. We're getting a couple of good ones here. Here's a really interesting one. Now, this should be a no-brainer, easy, and I feel like I know the answer to this, but Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. Why is this huge? Well, the Cowboys made that decision to move on from Ezekiel Elliott, making Tony Pollard the number 1 back there, because they couldn't afford both him and Elliott, and they opted to take Tony Pollard instead. So, with that being the case, I fully suspect, and again, I would be shell-shocked if it doesn't happen, but I see Tony Pollard back with the Cowboys. They've invested a lot in him. They really cannot afford to let him walk, especially with Elliott being gone and away. I mean, again, there's always the draft. There's always free agency. Maybe there's a worst comes to worst. They look somewhere to get an answer, but I just don't see them. I mean, again, they'll go to great lengths. Jerry Jones is always key on that. You never try to overspend on a player, but because it's such a bold move that they've committed to, I feel like it's just in their best interest that they bring him back. And I feel like Tony Pollard likes it in Dallas there too. I think that helps to mutually keep them together. So I don't think that's going to be super hard. I think that, again, no-brainer. Should be able to do that there. Shouldn't be hard. So that's an easy one in that regard. But again, anything can change. We don't know. NFL is tricky. Things change, and even with our best guesses, we just don't know. So, but let's see. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. All right, let's move on. Too many tabs open here. Let's close this tab. That tab. Blah 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 blah. Oops, hang on. Computer's going slow here. Now, again, there's plenty of other players, too, that are out there that we're not going to mention. And again, a lot of these are offensive players. There's going to be some defensive ones, too. Which, actually, I'm going to mention this one while we're waiting here for the computer to catch on. Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is an interesting story because there's been a lot of friction, especially in the early start of this season. I believe, long story short, at the end of the day, I think he's gone after in free agency. I just don't see it. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, again, it's a difficult situation, especially when you have a situation where there's a lot of negativity between a player and a team there, and sometimes it can be repaired, sometimes it can't. So just based on everything that has happened in Tampa Bay and what they've gone through, I just feel like it's I just feel like it's not going to happen. I think there's just too much bad blood there. I think it's just, he made his feelings known, the team made their feelings known, all that sort of thing. So I just think it's time he moves on there. Enough said, short and sweet. Let's see, now that we got this list back up. Baker Mayfield, that's an easy one. I'm going to say he stays in Tampa. I think he loves it there. He's professed that he loves it there. That's an easy one there. That's not too difficult. Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans, definitely gone. This has been teased about since his last offseason, even up to the trade deadline. I think in the offseason it will happen, especially because Derrick Henry is bridging his 30s now. I don't know if he'll get a starting gig, but he might find a good team as a supplemental back. There's plenty of opportunities there. I think it'll be contract friendly, and if the Titans are in a good spot, they're going to be rebuilding. I think it's probably best at this point to, even if they can, he's a free agent, so they could trade him if they have his rights. Might not be a bad idea, but I think he's going to be gone ultimately at the end of the day. The last one we're going to talk about, the most interesting one, here's a good one too, that's on this list. Austin Eckler, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers have a new coach, bringing back a familiar face, Jim Harbaugh, back in the NFL, coaching again. Justin Herbert there at quarterback. They got some good talent loaded there. What does Eckler do? What does it look like without him? They've had some young talent there. In fact, I want to pull this up just because I knew some of the guys that were there, but let's just see. I don't know a lot of these guys anymore. Where is the Charger? There we go. Let's take a look, because I want to just better look at this when we make this assessment too, because this is a tough one, and the best way to do this is utilizing it this way by looking at the depth chart. Let's pull up the roster here. Let's see what we got. Subject to change, of course, naturally. 4 quarterbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Joshua Kelly was one. That's right. Jared Pearson. Isaiah Spiller, they drafted. That was the other one. So, as far as that goes, it looks good. I think with this one is dollars and cents will play a key, role play a key, and really up to Eckler what he would want to do. But does it make sense for him to come back there? Sure. It's still a huge. It's a gap that it's huge for not having him there, and based on who they have left, I wouldn't suggest they would go elsewhere. But again, I guess it depends on if there's a bidding war for him. I don't see the Chargers outbidding anybody, nor are they going to splurge a lot and spend a lot. So I will say he's safe for now, but anything can change there. So there you go. A lot of huge makeup there. We haven't talked about a lot of other players that are on that list. More stuff will come out. We'll probably do something for the springtime when the draft comes around, and we'll take a better look at rosters coming up, look on the season. But that is the short end of it, and then the long and short end of it. And then, of course, we'll see who will be crowned the new champion next year. Will the Chiefs be back again? Who knows? Hard to say. Time will tell. We'll see what happens in free agency, and as well as other things that happen from now and then. It's a long time until the 2024 season kicks off. A lot of things can happen. A lot of storylines will happen, I'm sure, over the summer once training camp starts, which we'll update you guys on and more. But this was going to officially wrap up the 2023 NFL season. What a season it's been. A very first, actually, because a lot of familiar faces that have been retired or gone are not there. And I know there was a stat. What was it? I think it was for the first time since 1999, 8 or 9. I think it was 1999, actually. 1999, 2000. No, it had to be. Let me think. Hang on. It had to be the first. No, it can't be right because he wasn't there. No, like I said, I think it was the first time since 1999. I could be wrong, but that the NFL playoffs did not feature either Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, which spanned a huge gap of generation for the last 20 years. So it's a new era in the NFL, which it had to happen sometime, a new anointing. There's a lot of great guys that are there, a lot of great players coming back. Oh, and lastly, before we go, actually, let's quick pick here for some teams. We'll be back. Obviously, Kansas City there. Philly and Dallas should have a good year this year. It doesn't mean they're going to win it all. Not sure about Detroit. I think that was their steamroll there. They had a chance. Maybe they come back. Baltimore should be there. Miami, if they put some pieces there, they can be back. Maybe Buffalo. Let's see who else is in the NFC. I'm going to give it to the Packers, too. I mean, I know it didn't seem likely, but I think the Packers are going to have a chance to be back as well. So there's that. A lot of teams we saw this year are probably going to bounce back. I'm hoping the Bengals do. I think they deserve a shot. But we'll see how it goes. A lot of teams rebuilding, like Atlanta, Tennessee. I think actually Indianapolis and Oakland should be back there. Jacksonville is a team I really like as well. So other teams that are rebuilding, Patriots are retooling and stuff. So teams like that, I wouldn't expect much this upcoming year, but give it some time. You never know what could happen. Time will tell, and we'll see how that pans out. But can't wait for more. We'll see how it goes when the whistles begin and the season kicks off. We'll be here covering all that stuff for you guys. Hopefully you'll be just as excited as we are to do that. It's going to be great. Who knows what will happen? It's always fun year to year. Nothing's ever the same. Everything changes, and it just adds to the excitement and the drama that always circulates. And we're going to cover some more stuff once baseball season starts. It's going to be awesome. That's going to be coming up. April's not far away, so we'll be covering all the greatest stories there, following the season, see how it plays out, and more. But thanks so much for you guys for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you come back tomorrow night. We'll be back here live, and we'll be back to the main show. We'll have some fun, and we'll look forward to continue spending the weekend with you guys. Have a great weekend. Happy President's Day to all. For those of you who may not tune in regularly, I hope you do. But we'll be back for more, and we hope to see you guys there as well. So, as we say there, of course, that's the final whistle for the end of the game. I need to get a whistle sound in there, but do I have one on here? I don't. Use your imagination. You can get there. Let's do it this way. I know it's not, but the final bell sounding. The game is over there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, we always enjoy it. We look forward to seeing you guys back here. We'll be back before you know it, before you can bat an eyelash. It'll be time to hang out with us again. And stay tuned for more great content. Check us out again. If you're not following us on social media there, please do so. And, of course, you can catch links to all of the episodes that we have available from last week. If you missed last week's show, it's there. And any of the other episodes, some of the archive favorites are there. Check them out there, of course. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Goodbye for now. And, of course, until next time, when we see you guys at the show.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Be sure to check J&J Production Studios on Linktree for all the streaming services and social media accounts where our shows are featured. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, until next time, we'll see you at the show.